yet a third explosion at a pipeline owned by the Encana Corporation out in western Canada by Dawson's Creek. It's now involving Canada's counter-terrorist security force, which has stepped in to investigate this third attack. Encana says the company has a crew at the scene trying to cap the gas leaking after a blast this weekend at Dawson Creek in British Columbia. The company said the leak is small and there is no dangerous hydrogen sulfide leaking from the damaged area. The first blast did occur on the 11th of October, about 30 miles away from this blast, and the second one occurred closer to the Alberta border on the 16th of October. Much of Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, remains underwater this morning. Although the water is receding, the death toll from the city's worst flooding in 20 years has climbed to 17. Floods caused by heavy rains have killed at least 44 people across Vietnam and sent food prices skyrocketing. Most of the capital's transportation system has ground to a halt. Rain had stopped falling by yesterday, and the waters were beginning to ebb, but many of the city's streets remain submerged under up to 3 feet of water. One 29-year-old businessman said, "I had to stay in my office for 2 days because I did not want to swim home in dirty water. It's a total nightmare." We've had a number of earthquakes. A moderate earthquake has shaken the American island of Guam in the South Pacific, but there are no reports of any injuries. The USGS said that the quake was a 5.1 on the Richter scale. It struck at 3:34 p.m. local time yesterday. Also to the north in the Aleutian Islands, part of Alaska, the USGS said that a 6.1 earthquake struck the area at 4:49 a.m. yesterday. It was centered about 1,100 miles southwest of Anchorage. There have been no reports of any damage or tsunami alert. Also in the United States island of Puerto Rico to the south, the USGS said that a 5.5 earthquake struck yesterday as well at about 4:42 p.m. local time. This one was about 70 miles north of the island of north of the capital of San Juan. The earthquake swayed tall apartment buildings, but there were no immediate reports of any damages or injuries. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, yet another aftershock, this one a 5.0, struck the area where the big Quetta earthquake struck. This one hit on Saturday, 3 days after that big one. The latest quake struck at 6 a.m. local time, just a little bit north of the area where tens of thousands of people still remain homeless as a result of Wednesday's earthquake. And for our final story, if you don't know where Dhaka, Bangladesh is, here's a map to refresh your memory. This is probably a story about globalization in the truest sense of the word, and what happens when people begin to learn how to play with fire, and it sometimes can burn them. This is a story that's coming in this morning. Police in Bangladesh have taken action and have been forced to disperse a group of angry stockbrokers demonstrating outside of Dhaka Stock Exchange this morning. This is after share prices on the exchange sank to 3-month lows. The Bangladeshi capital's benchmark Dhaka Stock Exchange General Index, which has been largely unaffected by the global economic turmoil of late, fell nearly 2% in morning trading this morning, this after dropping 2% yesterday. The police chief said that about 40 stock market employees, including brokers, gathered outside the exchange demanding that the president of the stock exchange resign. They were shouting and protesting, "Why is the stock price falling?" They called for the president to quit. Police dispersed the protesters. The privately owned stock exchange said that police in riot gear had charged the demonstrators. Well, we would like to see something like that going on in New York someday. People outside protesting, "Why did the stock go down?" It seems that the brokers only, I'm not going to say anything because brokers make money if you buy or sell. Maybe people who have actually lost some of these trillions of dollars in their 401ks will start protesting, but that's why we have an election and people can vote tomorrow and protest one way or the other. Tomorrow it will happen. I thank everybody around the world who watches this broadcast for their continuing interest in the program as well as in the U.S. election. And it will be a thing of beauty occurring tomorrow, beginning in the eastern part of the U.S. and working its way across the country. As Americans go to vote and a changing of power occurs constitutionally, legally, and without any violence. So you can complain as much as you want about it, but it still is truly a very impressive thing to see. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.